Well, happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, January the 13th already in the new year of 2026, and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tom. So far, how's it going? What am I talking about? The new year, of course, 2026. I know it's new, only a week or so old, but how's it going? Are you winning the game? Again, what in the world am I talking about? So let me start at the beginning. While out for an afternoon bicycle ride through the neighborhood, I bumped into a friend I hadn't seen in quite some time. Physically, she looked as though she had lost some weight. And it was that kind of weight when you lose it, it doesn't look healthy. We stopped and chatted for a while, and when she asked me how I was doing, I told her I was doing fine, life is good, etc., etc. We exchanged some pleasantries, and then she said, "Oh, you're winning the game." And I paused. I hadn't heard my life described that way, again, as winning the game. But I understood, I get it, and I agree. You're either winning, you're losing, or you're treading water. So, back to the original question, how's it going? If you're planning on having a happy, successful, and fun new year in 2026, then you're winning the game. So our G-List guest today is Judge Patricia Stephens-Moss. She is an Auburn native, a first-generation college graduate, having received a bachelor's from Auburn in 1982. As a prosecuting attorney, she's handled hundreds of cases, including capital murders, just regular murders, and child sex abuse cases. She has worked worked for a general practice law firm where she represented litigants in criminal defense, civil litigation, family law, personal injury. And so we look forward to having that conversation later on in the show. Our show today, of course, is brought to you by the consulting firm of Best Girl Inc. Let's catch up to Best Girl.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
Continues to customize the solution that fits your needs. So let's go to the round table and talk to Barbara Wallace-Edwards and Michael Walker and see what they got for us this morning. Good morning, Barbara Wallace-Edwards. How you doing?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing well. And how are you today?
I'm doing very well.
Good. Winning the game.
I'm winning the game. That's what she told me. So
yes, that's good.
I like that. I didn't think twice about it, but she took off her direction and I took off on the bicycle with a big smile on my face because I'm winning the game.
Yes. Makes you feel good.
What's happening in your world?
Well, Tom, I want to start this morning by wishing my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated a happy Founders Day. We're celebrating today our 113th anniversary as a sorority. And it has been a fabulous journey for me. I pledged Delta at Auburn University in 1977, and one of the best decisions that I've made. So happy Founders Day to my sorors.
Well, good deal. Good deal. That's great. So when did you guys come on? What do they call it? Online or whatever? When did you come on?
We were chartered at Auburn in 1974.
Okay.
Yeah, we were the first Black Greek sorority on campus. The Omegas, of course, were first fraternity. And so
they came about 72, 3, somewhere.
I think they were 72.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good deal.
Yes.
All righty. Well, let's get Michael Walker on here and see what he's got going this morning. Good morning, Michael Walker. How are you, brother?
I am doing well, TG. How are you doing this morning?
And I'm winning the game. That's what.
Well, that's good. That's good. Good morning, Barbara,
Good
and
morning, sir.
congratulations on the anniversary and what have you with your Delta Sigma Theta, as they say, a big leg Delta. You were one of those big leg Deltas.
I don't know about big leg, but I'm Delta. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
and,
I don't
and
know
by
about
the way,
you.
I commented on your post and when you first pledged, it was a great
Yes.
picture. So yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
good, good. Um, it's interesting, Tom. You know, it's funny. You think about 26 and winning the game, that things are going to be much different and more positive.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I always look forward to when there's a new year. And lo and behold, we just get dumped with all of this stuff that's a
Excuse me.
continuation. And, you know, it's even ratcheted up more, you
Yeah.
know, with the current chief, whatever he is now,
Clown.
you know.
Clown.
That's a good adjective to describe it.
Hmm.
You know, but this ICE thing is out of control.
Man.
Yeah, it
And
is.
and
Michael, when
rather
it when
than
when I saw that video of that officer shooting Renee Good, I mean, it gave me chills. I could not sleep. It's just inhumane treatment, and over and over again you see those situations. And I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead. I just had to get that in. That just bothered me so much.
no, I mean that's part of the discussion, and that's what I was thinking about is that you know it's so funny that when that happened, the people that are over on the ICE and Christie Nome and the White House, they jump immediately to lay blame against the person that just lost their life.
Right.
Okay, that's the thing that seems so heartless to me, is
Yes.
that first of all, you weren't there, you didn't see what precipitated the shooting,
Right.
and you're going to immediately fault the person that lost their life. Nobody had to lose their life that day.
That's right.
That's right.
And then
Exactly.
you look at them trying to cover it, but and then you see what cameras say, and I'll be the first to admit that different camera angles show different things. But I guess where I am is that what I saw in one film or one video is that two officers pulled up in a truck and they got out and approached the car.
Hmm.
And this one person that was driving the truck was overly aggressive to the
Yeah.
woman going to the door.
Right.
Okay. And you notice, and I'm sure that frightened her and what
Right.
have you. And so she turns her wheel, and by the way, a forensic person looked at the video and said her hands were turned to the left, meaning
Right.
she was trying to go a different way, you know, and she backed up, you know, put the car in drive. But the person that shot her was in front of
Right.
the vehicle. It wasn't the two people that approached from the side. And so
Mhm.
he shot straight on. And then when she turned, he shot in the side. So
Right. He put the gun inside the car and aimed it at her head and shot twice. He was nowhere in danger. He's saying she was trying to run over him, but at the point of the second and third shot, he
he
was
was
on
on
the
the
side
side.
of the car.
Yes.
He was not in any danger. Again, it's
Well,
total.
and you would think that I'm going to put quotation marks on this word leadership would have done something, would have at least showed some sympathy for what had
Right.
happened,
Exactly.
tried to smooth it over with her family and even with the ICE guys
Right.
so that they understand that this isn't acceptable.
Hmm.
But no, like you said, they immediately went after the woman, and they called Fat Donnie called her some kind of name. I can't remember what the name was. It was a negative thing, and I don't know. It's just I'm tired of them.
Yeah.
Well, and then 2 days later or so, two people are shot up in Portland
Yeah,
by ICE. Okay. So this just continues to move forward. And, you know, it's like a situation where we're almost getting to be like the countries that we consider to be beneath us when it comes to civil rights,
yeah,
Hmm.
you know?
exactly.
Uh,
Human
I
rights,
don't,
even. It's it's just
You know, when we first started doing this, and I would ask you guys the question, what's happening in your world? It was more of a personal question.
Yes.
More of what, like the one when I just said, you win in the game. That's what
Right.
happened in my world last week.
Right.
But because of this, I don't know what to call it. It's all of our world has become involved in this almost daily charade.
Hourly, Tom. It's not even daily anymore. There's multiple things happening each day.
Yeah, and what's I just love it when Fat Donnie goes out and does something to show his power. Went to Venezuela and he went over there and kicked ass or whatever. And now the oil company said they don't want that oil.
Right. We're not even gonna go. Tom, did you see the video of the meeting where he was in the meeting with them and just abruptly gets up and goes to the door and talks about the beautiful view from? I was like, what is he doing? And me, Rubio passes him a note, supposedly a private note, to tell him to go back to Chevron. You know, I guess they were going around the room. The representative from Chevron had spoken. Rubio passes him a private note and says, go back to Chevron. He looks at the notes. Go back to Chevron? What is this? Do I need to go back to Chevron? What? So Marco, what does this mean? So I'm like, see, really? I'm like,
you know what?
What is he doing?
Me of that commercial where the kid lets the bull out of the gate, and because he didn't check something or whatever. There's no thorough investigation about what they're planning on doing. They just do it, because they can. And that generally doesn't work, and it doesn't play.
I saw a post that someone made, I think yesterday, and they said supporting Trump is no longer a political choice. It's a statement that you don't care about morality, legality, or the truth. And I think that pretty much sums it up.
But I saw a thing twice last week, and I know both of the people. One of them I went to school with.
Mm-hmm.
The other one has a business down here. His wife went to school with me, and they had they'd gotten this list of people who support Trump, and why they support Trump, and why don't they just give him a break? And
wow,
like, where y'all been?
Yeah, really.
Give him a break? Anyway.
Talking about
something more positive.
I do have a positive story.
Okay.
There's a 13-year-old young man in Conyers, Georgia, Joshua Sedeth, who has broken Dr. Martin Luther King's record. Who was admitted to Morehouse College at the age of 15 years old. This young man, Joshua Sedeth, has been admitted to Morehouse at the age of 13. And that is something to really be excited about. Yeah. And I know his parents has to be really proud of him. He's been a child prodigy, they said, since 9 months old. He started speaking, and he hasn't stopped learning since then. And that's wonderful.
That's great.
Yes.
That is fantastic. Yeah. You wonder, it's funny how things have changed, and also it's based on where you are at a certain time, and hats off to this young man to be admitted to Morehouse at the age of 13, and as well as to Dr. King. It's so funny. I remember when I came out of kindergarten back at public schools, they said that I was advanced enough to skip first grade and go to second grade.
Right.
But the people in the school system didn't like my folks, so they denied me that opportunity to go to second grade. So I could have skipped a grade, but they just didn't like my family, so they were like, no, he's not doing it. And I just think about a lot of what happens is based on where you are and who's in a position to say yes or no.
Yeah, absolutely right, Michael.
It didn't have anything based on my grades, because that's why, I went to kindergarten in Opelika. Mm-hmm. And so they said, hey, this guy's ready for second grade. And they sent that to the Auburn Public Schools, and the people that were in charge, they said no.
I couldn't let that happen.
Yeah, so it's just kind of funny, but I'm happy how things have changed. And the same can be said for, say, LeBron James, because Tom, back in the days when we grew up, being that size, he would have been down low playing basketball, under the basket. He never would have had the opportunity to develop his skill set or do anything else, because somebody that size, you can't play guard. And so you look at him, and the same for Magic Johnson. Magic never would have been Magic had he come up at a time where
earlier time.
Yes.
That's why so many of the athletes of today really need to give honor to those who came before them, because they opened the doors for them. They paved the way. And we talked about that before, and I still say it today. They should be on their hands and knees thanking you guys, Tom and Michael, for opening those doors.
It reminds me of our basketball coach. We would run these drills, and he would give the guy the ball and tell him to dribble as fast as he could to the other end of the court. And the kid would take off dribbling, and then the coach would get another ball and throw it to the other end of the court. And, of course, it would get there before the guy. And he said, now which ball gets there faster? You dribbling or passing the ball?
I love it.
I think you need to pass the ball, man. Is what he's trying to say.
That's a good lesson.
That's funny. And think of which, Wemby, who is 7'4", you see him dribbling down the court now and pulling up shooting a three. Do you think that would have happened at 7'4"?
Never. No.
No, Lord. What do you think about the college playoffs? Have you enjoyed it or anything? I know Indiana, man, they put a whipping on Alabama.
Yes, they
and then they put a spanking on Oregon.
Oregon, yes. They're the real deal. They are.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. What's so interesting about Indiana, and you have to root for them. I was rooting for Indiana and Ole Miss, to be honest with you. Ole Miss because of Lane Kiffin and what happened with them. And then Indiana, they're just, and the quarterback said it. He says, we're a bunch of misfits. We don't have any 5 stars on our roster. So that tells you they're made up of people that they maybe have 1 or 2 4 stars, and then the rest are 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 and 0 stars.
Right.
Like the quarterback from Ole Miss was a 0 star and what have you. And so one thing that I can say about the transfer portal, it has brought upon a lot of chaos, confusion, and what have you. But one thing it has done is given people that just didn't get discovered an opportunity to showcase because of the transfer portal. I will say that, which is good. I do.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have to say that I think Ole Miss kind of got cheated a little bit at the end of that game, because when they threw that ball into the end zone, you could see the Miami defensive player holding up his progress and fighting him off. And I sat there and I wondered, had that been Georgia or Alabama, would they have gotten the call?
Right.
If it'd been Georgia, they would have gotten the call.
Probably Alabama too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been I tell you that in Indiana, man, they come to play.
Yes.
They come to play big time, and they're great. And I know people say this, but that team we had back at Auburn in the day called the Amazons, that's the way we played. And this is when you and I were talking earlier, Michael. We didn't make mistakes, and Indiana doesn't make mistakes.
Right.
They don't turn the ball over. They don't jump off sides. They don't do any of those things that give the game away. Right. You got to beat them. They're not going to give it to you. They're not going to hand it to you. And it's for me, it's just great to see guys play that way, because I remember that's how, man, you jump off sides, you were going to the bench, buddy. Shit,
Right.
your ass might not play no more of that game. You know? They didn't play that, you know. And so it's good to see that has come back. That this coach pretty much emphasizes you don't make mistakes. It's like Philadelphia Eagles yesterday, and that damn what's his name, the receiver who always crying and bitching and moaning. And he missed two balls right in his hands. AJ Green, that's AJ.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, man, shut up and catch the ball. That's the job. Then he and the coach got into it on the sideline. I won't be surprised if he's not with him next year. You know,
he's been a drama queen throughout. You know, this process. You know, he wasn't getting the ball enough. Yeah, but they were winning. You know, just you know, so it shows selfishness. You know, and on the flip side, that you bring that
before you leave that, but I think we've all played in situations where, man, you're not getting the ball, but you're winning,
right?
And so you're okay. You want the ball, you want to do this, but we're winning, and winning triumphs. You getting the ball all the time, you know,
right?
And so he's not my kind of guy.
Yeah. And what I was going to say on that subject, I think that unfortunately, the flip side of the transfer portal is all of this money that's being funneled into the players now they're in college, and it's creating a me first attitude.
Yeah.
You know, because you have players that were playing and getting opportunities, and then they decide, well, and it's probably due to an agent, well, you can get more money at this school over here if you go in the transfer portal. Right. So they'll jump and go over there when they could have gotten the same money where they were, but they wanted to be featured more.
Right.
Okay. And, you know, there's one player from Auburn that decided to bail. Now, he started ever since his freshman year.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Now, he started every game his freshman year. He's been featured all along. Right. Okay. But he decides he's going to leave Auburn because he wants to go to a place where there's consistent quarterback play and they can get him to the next level. Okay. I get all that. Arch Manning is an up and down player. He's not consistent. Okay.
Right.
But be that as it may, you were the featured receiver at Auburn. So now you're going to flip and go over there and you're going to get maybe a couple $100,000 more. But here's the thing, and this, I think, Tom, you would agree with this. This is what separates people from our generation to now. Had I been that receiver that fumbled the ball on the drive that could have beaten the Iron Bowl, could have beaten Alabama in the Iron Bowl, and so we lost because I fumbled going into the red zone, I'd want to come back and redeem myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay? Before I take off and leave and talk about I want to go where, because a quarterback threw him that ball that he fumbled.
And you're probably right. It's probably the agent.
Yeah, I hear it's the agent.
If he gets more money, the agent gets more money.
Yeah. And, I understand the difference between what the offers was. Auburn was offering them basically the same thing, but a lot of the money was tied up in incentives. Where at Texas, it was outright, he was going to get it regardless. And so the agent was standing to get more money that way up front. So, I'm sure the agent was pushing him in that direction.
Yeah. And that's kind of unfortunate.
It is. And I also heard he wanted to go somewhere he thought he would be able to win a national championship sooner. So he decided he would be able to go to Texas.
I'm just laughing about something else.
Oh, okay.
So I played when it was illegal money. So we didn't have that problem.
Right.
As a matter of fact, Tom, you were trying to play better so you could get more illegal money.
Get those $100 bills, man.
Have $100 handshake at the end.
But I think also we played when there was just more loyalty. And, if you think about it, Coach Jordan, who was my coach, Shug Jordan, was there for 25 years. Right. That'll never happen again.
No. I was going to say there were more loyalty at the player and the coaches level back then. See Lane Kiffin lead the team, and they're going for a national championship. That wouldn't have happened back in the day.
No, and I don't know. I understand his part, but But man, you that's what you work for, to get the opportunity to play for the big money, which is the national championship.
Yes.
And I don't know to leave, but I'm glad they represented themselves well.
Yes, they did.
I was really pulling for them,
Yeah.
So I don't know, and hopefully. I don't know Cam Coleman, and hopefully things will work out for him.
I hope so.
Yeah. I wish him well, but sometimes you want to pause and think. Sometimes it may not be better. Like what happens if Arch Manning gets hurt? Not saying that I hope that, but you can never predict that. What you have to do is do the best with what you have, and you already being featured. You're the number one receiver. That's all I'm saying.
And the fact that, his parents, I think he's from Phoenix City, so his parents could drive over for 30, 40 minutes to be there for all the games. And now going out to Texas is going to take a lot more effort for his parents and his family to be able to go and see him play. But I guess when you get $4 million.
He can fly him out every time.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got $4 million. That doesn't matter.
Hey, and his parents might have told him to take the money.
Maybe so.
Absolutely.
You never know.
Absolutely.
Know.
And think about this. Ty Simpson, the quarterback for Alabama, he came out and said he was going into the draft, because this is a down draft for quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying that he may be the third quarterback taken behind the quarterback from Indiana and the one from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the guy from Mississippi may be the fourth. Ty Simpson goes and enter the draft. Miami is trying to lure him back out with a $6.5 million contract to come out of the draft and come back to Miami and stuff. So,
$6.5 million if he goes into the draft, he'll get more.
Right.
I agree, but that's how they're playing the game now. So if they was like, "Hey, this is guaranteed money. You can come out. Come back to us. We'll pay you $6.5 million. You're gonna be the starter automatically, and then you can increase your stock for the next year." That's what they're selling.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll see. Like I said, it's changing rapidly more every day, and it's got to be hard on the coaches. Because that's their livelihood,
right?
And you can't depend on your players unless you're a coach like Indiana. I think when he says something, they all listen. I think he like E.F. Hutton of that team.
Oh yes, listening to the players, you can tell they really respect him and like him a lot. So,
well, and that's the way it ought to be, the way it should be. Let's move along and get Sean to do Got a Minute. We'll go to our G-list guest. So, Sean, you got a minute for us?
Good morning to everyone joining in with us. My name is Shantia Jones, and this is Got a Minute. Guess what? Well, apparently we are in the golden age of dating. With the rise of technology, not only has our love lives quickly been enhanced, our communication has been facilitated, helping us to find potential partners. Here are 5 fun facts about dating. 1, the longer you spend dating somebody before marrying, the less likely the marriage is to end in divorce. 2, there have been no correlation found between astrological sign and compatibility. 3, a woman's happiness is a key indicator of a successful relationship. 4, wearing red can make people more attracted to you. And 5, men are usually the first ones to say, "I love you." So until next time, happy hunting. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute.
Well, thank you there, Sean. I guess we all learned a little something there. Huh? Right. Let's where are we? So Hollywood's got the A list, and here on Tuesdays with Tom, we have the G list. Now, G list guest today is Judge Patricia Stephens-Moss. She is a native of Auburn University, a first-generation college graduate. While working full-time and raising two boys, she attended Miles Law School in the evenings and graduated cum laude. Upon graduating from Miles Law School, she was hired as a deputy district attorney with the Jefferson County, Alabama District Attorney's Office. As a prosecuting attorney, she handled hundreds of cases, including capital murders, and child sex abuse. Let's welcome Patricia Stephens-Moss, Judge Patricia Stephens-Moss. Good morning, Judge. How are you?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I have enjoyed the show so far this morning.
Well, we try to have a little fun along with it, although we probably throw a few arrows at Fat Donnie, but other than that, we're okay.
Who's Fat Donnie?
We know.
You know, like I said, I have several classmates from high school and who posted this thing last week in praise of Fat Donnie. And it's like, well, which Fat Donnie are you talking about? Because I don't see how you could praise this man for anything. But, you know, to each his own. We'll move on. So, Judge, how are you this morning?
I am doing just wonderful and just having a good time this morning, listening to everything y'all been saying.
Well, we're going to start off with Barbara Wallace Edwards here, and she's got a question for you, a comment. Go ahead, Barbara.
Good morning, Judge. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask you about your humble beginnings. You, of course, a native of Auburn. What was your inspiration to first generation college graduate? What was your inspiration to go on to college and then pursue your law career with trying to raise a family at the same time? Just talk about your beginnings.
Yeah, my grandmother, my dad's mom. I spent a lot of time with her growing up. My dad left Alabama, moved to New York when he was a teenager, and I was born to 16 and 17-year-olds. Neither one of them had ever finished school. And my grandmother had a third grade education. Until the day she died, she signed her name with an X.
Wow.
But she always emphasized to me the importance of education and how far education could take you as opposed to not having an education. So that stuck with me. So not only am I a first generation college graduate, I was also the first a family member in the immediate family to graduate from high school. Wow. But it was her teaching, preaching about the importance of education. And one of the things that I keep in my office to this day is a picture of her.
Wow. That's
great.
Yes,
it's amazing. But my dad was like that. My dad went to sixth grade, and he ended up getting a GED. But he always talked about the value of education.
Yes.
Always talked about it. And I remember once my dad worked at a Sipco in Birmingham, and he worked outside in the loading yard. And we could go there. We'd go to the commissary, and we could go there and stand at the fence, and he could come over to the fence and talk with us. And it was raining, man. It was raining. And I said, Daddy, why don't you get out the rain? And he said, that's why I want you to go to college. So you don't have to stand out in the rain and work. I've never forgotten that. But he was so big on education and what it could do for you. And much like your grandmother there.
Yeah. And my grandmother would always say to me, she didn't want me to have to clean houses like she did. And that's what she did. She cleaned houses until she retired. And I think about sometimes what a smart and intelligent woman she was. And I've said to myself, how far could she have gone if she had just been able to get an education? Because they worked in the cotton fields, so they couldn't go to school. Their mom, dad needed them in the cotton fields to help supplement their income. The more cotton you pick, the more money that would be brought into the household.
Right.
Michael?
Well, good morning, Judge. Thanks for being
Good
here with us.
morning.
Yeah, that reminds me of the song, Here Come the Judge. You remember that song? Here Come the Judge. We're happy to have you here, Judge.
Thank you. And I'm glad to be here with you.
Okay. I'd just like to ask you, and, given the times that we live in, how certain people will use the Department of Justice as a weapon and what have you. How as an attorney, an officer of the court, how do you allow yourself to be used in that way when you know it's wrong?
You can, and you're not supposed to. When I was a prosecuting attorney, one of the things that was important to me is to make sure that the case was tried fairly, not to hide evidence, not to suppress evidence, to make sure that the defense attorney had everything that I had. So as an officer of the court, there's a mandate and an oath that we take that we are to uphold the law. So you're asking me something that I don't know how anyone who's taken that oath is able to then decide that they're not going to follow the law.
And allow themselves to be used
Right.
for one individual. Okay. At taxpayers' expense.
Right.
Okay, I got it. Help me understand this, and I'll move on. Tom, in your introduction, said that you have been involved in criminal defense, capital murder, and regular murder, I think. So tell us, what's the difference between capital murder and just murder?
Capital murder, you're facing the death penalty or life without. Murder, you're facing anywhere from 20 years to life.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I am proud of with my career. I've been a prosecutor, I've been a defense attorney. So I've been on both sides. Now, one of the things that was asked of me when I left the DA's office is, how can you defend someone who is guilty?
Right.
As a defense attorney, my job is to absolutely make sure that the prosecutor does what they're supposed to do. If they have a good, solid case, present their good, solid case. If not, then my job as the defense attorney is to make sure that if my guy is innocent, then that person does leave the courthouse a free person. So the defense attorney has a job to do, the prosecutor has a job to do. And it's important to get people in those positions that will do the right thing.
Let me ask a question about the defense attorney there. If you know your person is guilty, or you have an indication that your person might be guilty, and I understand you've got to do your job to do the best for them, but does it bother you to know that, okay, this person is guilty, and you may not, do you try to get them off, or do you try to just get a lesser sentence for them? How does that work?
Okay.
Mentally,
If there's, and I would never ask if you are guilty or innocent. I would ask, what happened? Were you there? Were there some people that were around you who were the witnesses? But if I got the indication that you were guilty, then at that point, for me, the thing that I need to do is work with the prosecutor to get you the best sentence possible, the least amount of time possible. That would be my job at that point. But of course, there would also be situations where the defendant was guilty, knew he was guilty, and pushed you to trial. And you've heard the term, I want to beat the case. And if it's a situation like that, I want to beat the case and you have to try the case, then you bring your witnesses and you present the very best that you can. You ask questions that may tend to poke holes in the case, but that's about all you can do. And I tell young lawyers, even if you don't like your client, and some people may never admit they don't like their client, you put your best foot forward because it's your reputation that's on the line. It's your reputation as an attorney, your reputation as a person. So you put your best foot forward no matter what. And I have had clients that I didn't particularly care for. But at the end of the day, I'm the attorney and I have to do the very best job that I can.
So you're saying you're the professional and the adult in the room. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Always. Now, Judge, you've served as a prosecutor and as a defense attorney, and now transitioned to the judge. You've been on the bench for 13 years now. How hard was that transition, making that transition from being the attorney in the room to being the judge?
I don't know how or why, but it was not a difficult transition for me. And I live in what I believe are seasons. I believe God has called us for such a time as this in each season. So I had a season as a prosecuting attorney, and it was a great season. I had a season as a defense attorney, and it was a great season. And when I transitioned over to the bench, it's been a great season, and it was an easy transition, but it was different. Each season has been different, and it's caused me to have to rethink, restudy, and be ready for that different season. But I think when you can put it in compartments like that this is this season and this is what I need to do to excel in this season. Now there's a new season. I need to do A, B, C, and D to excel in this season. So each season has been just fantastic.
That's awesome. Yes.
Okay. Judge, I'd like to ask you this question, and I'm not going to ask you how you would rule. I just want to ask you if you felt like this was a good case with merit. Fonnie Willis, the colleague in Atlanta, the DA for Fulton County, and the case she brought against current president when he was former president and trying to rig the election. She tried him under RICO and what have you. Do you think that was a good foundation to bring that case forward? And if so, what do you think caused it to unravel?
Okay, as a sitting judge, I can't comment on pending litigation or cases that may possibly be back in front of the court. You know, what I can say is with cases, a lot of times it will unravel based on your witnesses, the testimony of those witnesses, your exhibits. In general, the cases can unravel based on some of those things. Okay. And sometimes undue and outside influence may cause a case to unravel.
Thank you.
Barbara, you got anything else?
I do, Judge. And I just want to say how proud I am of you and all that you're doing in our community. And thank you for the work that you're doing. But in addition to serving as judge here in Birmingham, metro area. You also are involved in a lot of civic activities. Talk about those activities and how they have enhanced your life, if at all.
Yes, I'm involved with and I'll try to get them all, the National Congress of Black Women, Links Incorporated, the Optimist Club, community. I've been involved with community affairs. All of those organizations bring a sense of satisfaction into my life because they're all organizations in which we're giving back to the community. And I think it's very important that we all give back to the community. And I work with a great bunch of people who have good ideas and they're wanting to move the community forward. And it's just important to give back. So all of those things pour into me as I pour into the community.
Awesome. Thank you.
Michael, you got anything else?
Yeah, I would just ask you this question. As with a lot of things, there's comes representation and representation of what the population is. Is there a void of people that look like us in the position of making a difference in people's lives like us? Do we not have enough people there that could understand how our plight may get us into a situation and be able to effectively help us legally?
Yeah, we do have a shortage. Now, if you're in Jefferson County and you look around Jefferson County, you would think, oh my goodness, there are a lot of African American judges and attorneys. But you leave the Jefferson County, Birmingham municipal area and go to other counties in the state, there may not be a minority attorney, there may not be a minority judge, and this is in a lot of counties in Alabama. And we need that. We need people on the bench with different perspectives, people who have different life experiences, because you bring those experiences to the bench. And I'll just give you an example. When I was with the DA's office, there was a grandmother raising her grandchildren, and she whipped one of the children with a switch. Now, if you're like me, I know all about that.
Right.
And of course,
We all do.
and that child had whips. I had the marks on their legs, went to school. There was a report to DHR, and that creates a lot of involvement with law enforcement, with the Department of Human Resources. And the question becomes, does this grandmother need to be prosecuted, or does she need parental education? And I'm thankful that I was in a position to be able to say she needs to be educated on how to parent in this era, because she was doing what she knew. So it's so important to have people with different perspectives that they can bring to the prosecutor's office, to the defense, and to the bench. Same, another scenario, young man, 18, 19 years old, decides to steal from his employer. Never been in any trouble before. Does that young man get another opportunity, say with youthful offender? Or do you as a prosecutor push for the judge to deny youthful offender, and now this young man at 19 years old has a felony for the rest of their lives? And you need that perspective on the bench. Does this young man have problems at home where the money was needed? Or was this someone just trying to be greedy and just take money for no reason? But you need a perspective and a balance in everything that you do.
That's great. Great answer. Thank you, Judge.
Yes.
Anybody else? Michael, Barbara?
Yeah, Judge, I just want to ask if there's a young person right now that's interested in pursuing a career in law advice would you give them now, especially like a family, a person that has a family that's trying to go to school and at night? What advice would you give them?
As far as going to law school at night
Yes,
or
yes.
just in, okay, it's tough. Realize that it's tough. And as I told my nephew who just went into the military, anything worth having is going to take sacrifice. Anything worth having is not going to come easy. So accept the fact that you're going to have to sacrifice. Accept the fact, and I tell this story sometimes. I can remember being in law school and my folks, where one or two are gathered, the barbecue grill is coming out. But this was 4th of July. And while I was in law school and working during the day, going to law school at night, when that 4th of July holiday came, I had to tell myself, this is another day that I'll be able to study. One of the loneliest 4th of Julys I've ever had in my life. But guess what? If I pass the bar, I can be with them next summer.
Right.
And that's how you have to see it. So be prepared to sacrifice. It's one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life, but it has also been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. So I would tell them to make the sacrifice. And if they're interested in law school, don't give up on that dream. Because when I was 19, I briefly thought about law school. But there was the stigma and the people surrounding me. Okay, you're not smart enough, you're not bright enough, you're not white enough, you're not a male. You don't need to go to law school. That never went away, that dream of going to law school. So I was 38 years old before I ever set foot on the campus of Miles College and stepped into Miles Law School. So never give up on that dream. If it's a dream, go for it. Don't live with, I wish I had. Give it a
Judge,
try.
is it different today in our generation? We got, like you say, we got whippings. We had to sacrifice. You had to understand that your grandmother or my dad didn't get educated, and so there's some. Is it? And I know that we collectively criticize young people today. Oh, they don't know anything about what happened yesterday. They don't do this. They don't do that. They don't do that. How does that work in the courtroom?
In the yeah
Go ahead.
in the courtroom, what I'm finding is we have a generation that it's what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it. My mother, father, grandfather, no one can tell me what to do. So we're having a difficult time right now with parents being the parent and wanting to be the parent. And we're having a difficult time with children who have decided, I love my mama more than my dad, and these folks are divorced, and I don't want to see my mom, I don't want to see my dad. And of course, you can't pick them up and make them go with mom or dad. But we're getting more and more of these kids that I'm just not doing it. I can remember 10 years ago being able to, with the guardian ad litem and with the parents' permission, being able to sit children down and talk to them and tell them about visiting mom or dad, obeying your parents. And they would look at me and say, yes, ma'am. Now I have kids that are 10, 12, 14 that will tell me, I'm not going to my mom's house. I'm not going to my dad's house. I'm done with my dad. I'm done with my mom. So it's a totally different generation. And honestly, I don't know how to fix it. And can we fix it? That's the question. Can we fix this? But it has to start with the bare basics. And of course, by the time they get here to court, I haven't been involved with the basics.
Right.
And I asked some lawyers yesterday, is it possible that social media has really changed these kids' perspective on everything and made them believe that they can do just what they want to do and nobody can tell them anything?
That's tough.
It is. Wow.
Anybody else got anything? Barbara, Michael, Judge, you got anything you want to add, Judge? We hadn't asked you.
No, I don't want to add anything. I just want to say thank you for having me today. I have truly, truly enjoyed my time with you. My time backstage listening at the interaction was just awesome. And
That's
so I'll
That's
be
good.
listening again.
Backstage is where all the fun happens.
Judge, I just want to say to you, and I think we got a couple minutes, you bring up some interesting topics and messaging here. One thing that I found particularly odd is that, and this going back, I was talking to an attorney about an issue down in Florida and this particular county, and he said, well, that county isn't particularly friendly to people like you, is what he said to me. And I said something about, and I don't recall what I said. I said, well, I found that because I'm articulate and educated, when I go to court, lawyers and judges have a problem with that. And he said, oh, no, they don't like that. In other words, what he's telling me as an African-American male, being articulate and well-educated in a courtroom setting, dealing with some judges and some lawyers, they are put off by the fact that I just happen to be articulate and well-educated. And so they will rule against you just because of that. And that's why I asked the question earlier about more people like us being in those positions.
It's very, very important. You hear people that talk about the very thing that you're talking about. They talk about there being bad police officers, good police officers, bad judges, good judges, and we have to be at the table. And I hear people say often, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So
That's
it's
right.
so very important. That's why I love my civic organizations, Barbara, because we are in front of students, we're in front of children, and they see the things that we're doing. If they see it, then they may realize that they can also be there one day. And it's so important that we present as examples to these young people in the community so that they realize that they can be there also. So we have to continue to pour into our youth, even though it may seem like we're not getting anywhere with them. But I have a 28-year-old nephew that came to me a few weeks ago to say, Auntie, I was listening to you. I have an 18-year-old nephew right now that's in Italy in the Army, and he's told me also, Auntie, I was listening. So even when we feel like they're not listening, I think we have to continue to pour into our youth to make sure that they know and see, so that they know that they can be also.
And just a quick follow-up. I think it's important that our youth understand the importance of voting and voting in local election, because that's how you are in your position to give back and help. And we need to educate them about how the legal system and justice system work, and having people that look like us in these positions is a result of exercising your right to vote. Also, we got to get more educated in that.
I absolutely agree.
And I think we have to recognize and understand that, especially with young people, a person can never be what they've never seen.
That's right.
And
That's it.
especially with young men, You want to talk about, well, he's not a good person. Well, maybe he hadn't been around good people.
Right.
Perhaps you can help him become a good man. And the thing about males, to me, especially between maybe 16 and 22, 25, that's a tough period. If you make it out of 25, you probably got a good chance to be successful in life. If you don't make it between 18 and 25, it could be a rough life for you.
Right.
And you have to have somebody that can help you and can guide you along. And if you don't, as I've gotten older, I listen to people talk about how they were raised in their families. And sometimes you just can't believe it. You're just like, wow, that didn't happen in my house,
Yeah.
And it can be tough. It can be really tough.
And I'll say this really quickly. What you're saying is we have to meet people where they are.
There you go.
Oh, we lost her.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think she was going to say meet people where they are and take them where they want to be.
Yes.
Not that I'm putting words in her mouth, but I've heard that phrase before. Sorry, lost the judge. It was.
I know.
Yeah, Judge is great. Sorry,
Yes.
Judge, if you can hear us. We hated to lose you. Let me close out my comments, and maybe we'll get the judge back. I want to offer congratulations to Jairus McIntyre. He's a former Auburn team captain. He recently joined the football staff at Auburn. He serves as director of football and alumni relations. Jairus entered college ranks following a long stint as a youth coach, 10-year career as a high school football coach, including 6 seasons as the head coach at Tampa Catholic High School. He's a second-generation letterman at Auburn. Jairus' father, Cedric, and I played together. Cedric earned 4 letters as a fullback from 73 to 76. We played together for Coach Jordan. So congratulations to Jairus, who graduated from Auburn with a degree in education in 2003. And so that's and let me say let me thank some people for being with us today. Anthony Tedeschi, Byron Franklin. Byron, I've been wondering about you. How you been? I hope you're well. Deidre Day Diaz, Jalen Jackson, Anthony Brick, Barbara Pitts, Terry Gardner, Jamira Johnson Moore, Cheryl Ann Tedeschi, Anthony and Marvin, Speedy Edwards, Loretta, Jalen Jackson, Barbara Pitts. We want to just thank all of you for being with us today. And I'm sort of running out of breath here. But we got Raymond Crump. Crump, I hope you're doing well. I talked to Mitzi yesterday, and we talked about you in a positive way. So I hope all is well. Easy G plays. I think I mentioned Speedy Edwards. And Lori Wallace, Laurie Lukes. We thank you guys for being with us today. It's been an enjoyable day. Anything else from any of you guys? Okay.
That's it. Great show.
Great show. Thank you.
We thank the audience. We thank the TWT team. And as always, a special thanks to the audience. And that's it for January 13th in the year 2026. Remember, a day without a smile is a day wasted. Enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Stay safe. Blessings and peace.